thank you guys so much for being here at Social Connect Phoenix Last Call. So I've gotten a lot of questions, and I just want to make it clear and be honest. A lot of people ask me, is this my last call for the year, or is this my last call forever? And I have to come out and say that is my last call forever. So you guys are here at the very last Social Connect Phoenix event that I'm hosting. And it is very bittersweet because I love this event, but I'm honestly, as an entrepreneur, making room in my life for some other things that I'm really passionate about. So while I love hosting and planning this event, I will be doing more connecting through community. I think you guys know, just from even having Copper Rain up here, like I got teary-eyed as just they were talking, that I have a big heart for service projects, and I want to be able to be involved in more service projects. So actually, coming up on December 16th, you might have met him, Tim Whitman had to leave, but we're doing a Wreaths for Veterans event. And that's something that I'll be sharing a little bit in the future. But just so you guys know, I love Social Connect. I love that I've been able to make so many connections and build up the community in this way and bring all of you together. But I've also been planning events since 2001. And it is time. And this girl is tired. And we're ready. So we're ready to move on and do some other things. But I'm going to shout it out because I see Dave Waltzer here. He has an amazing event. He has Wicked Awesome Happy Hour. There's so many people in our community. Local First Arizona is another organization. They do some incredible events. So I would kind of like to be a participant at some of those events. So I hope you guys all understand where I'm coming from. But yes, this is the last one. I am really, really excited that you are here. There may be passing of the torch in 2024, but that's still to be decided. And but I just love you guys. I love you guys for being a big support of this. I know I've got Nat here, who was at my very first, along with Lloyd Hopkins, who was at my very, very, very first one when I decided to launch this. And it's been such a great ride. Am I gonna get teary-eyed? Yeah. It's like birthing a baby and seeing it off to college. I know, right? Yeah, and Nat, I have 2 kids who are just keeping me crazy busy all the time. So I just want to say I appreciate all of you so much for being here. All right, let's kick off this panel. As I said, Lloyd Hopkins was on my very, very first panel, April 18th, 2018, when I first officially launched Social Connect Phoenix. Pre-pandemic. We've been through it all. And changes and different venues and all sorts of things. And I invited him back because I felt like this was very, very full circle to have one of my amazing peeps come back and share his story, because he's done an incredible job with the $1 Million Teacher Project. And then next to him, we've got Misty Kortes, who I've known also for a very, very long time. She was an insurance agent when I first met her and has grown her business quite huge, actually. And so I wanted her to come on. She's with the marketing coach. And we've got James Christensen, who's my sponsor with Gateway Bank. Not your typical banker. You can see he sports even Converse and blue jeans. So, all right. So we're going to go ahead and just do some questions, some Q&A with them. But my first question is, can you share a time, Lloyd, and I know this story, but can you share a time where you felt defeated and you had to figure out how to get back up? And this is the same question for all of the panels, if you want to go ahead and pass the mic.
Okay, so a time when I felt defeated, I think the biggest time was this was probably, we're in, 2023 now? So this was probably around 2013 when I found myself fired from a job. And I hadn't been unemployed since I was 16 years old. You know, I had literally worked every day from the time I was 16. And then me and my boss at the time weren't seeing eye to eye. And, you know, spoiler alert, when you're not seeing eye to eye with your boss, you're probably going to wind up fired. For anybody that's wondering how this turns out. And so I found myself unemployed, you know, and I remember that, you know, the first call was to my wife, who came over and helped me do my unemployment and get all that stuff together. And the second call was to my younger brother, who said some words that literally changed my life and put me on the trajectory where I'm even here talking to you all today. I called him and he said, great, you lost your job, now find your life. And that hit me like a ton of bricks because he was right. You know, at that point in my life, I was chasing a lot of superficial things and didn't really have a full connection to who I was as a man and who I wanted to be when I walked into the room. And so him telling me that took me on a 1.5-year journey of self-discovery and me finding myself and me being able to pull myself back up, you know, because as a man, we're taught to be breadwinners. And my family went down to a single income, and it was so tough. And it was the hardest time in my life, but it was also the most transformative time in my life, and it gave me so much clarity. It helped me realize my passion for education, my passion for teachers, and that's what led me to launch $1 Million Teacher Project. So that was the time, and that was a journey, and that's how I pulled myself out.
Nice. That's awesome. I love it. So I think my biggest challenge was when we uprooted our family. We're originally from Michigan, and we had moved all the way across country to a brand new state where we knew no one. And Tisha actually knows this story. She was one of my very first clients when we moved here, like my first connections. And I knew I wasn't happy, but I really didn't know where I wanted to take my life. Kind of, you know, we knew we wanted to change, so when we moved, it was to start over. And so here we are with 4 kids, a dog named Jude, and it was October of 2012, so the economy wasn't great in Arizona, if you remember. I do. And when we moved out here, we moved our family into a 1-bedroom apartment. I mean, if you want to count, there was, 4 kids and 2 adults and a dog named Jude. So there wasn't a lot of room for furniture. We had a TV in the living room, and we were all sleeping on air mattresses. It's just kind of humbling to think about. It wasn't that long ago, but yet it seems so far away. And so here we are, and I kept praying to God, like, I know I'm not on the right path, but I don't know what to do. Just give me a sign. Tell me what to do, and I'll do it. I don't care what it is. I'll just do it. So I applied for a job at Target to pay the bills, because that month, in October of 2012, we had made $600. You do the math, it's not a lot, and it doesn't pay the bills. So I applied to Target and said, hey, if I get the job, I'll take it. Like, I'll know this is crystal clear, this is where I'm supposed to be right now, and I'll do what I need to do. And so I applied for the job. I'm sitting in the Target, and a kid walks out of the manager's office, and as he's walking out, he has like a bounce in his step. I can't put it any other way. His butt's hanging out. I can see his underwear, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I got the job." And I'm like, "This is okay. That's cool." She calls me in, and I'm walking into the room, and I go to sit down on the chair in front of her, and she goes, "So I looked at your application, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be a good fit." I have a master's degree. No, I'm not, like, and I didn't know what to say. I was literally stunned, and I looked at her, and tears were welling up in my eyes, and I knew if words came out my mouth, like, this was gonna get ugly, ugly crying. And so instead of saying anything, I literally ran from her office, out the Target doors, got in my van, started screaming if you would have seen me in the car, hopefully none of you did. I was screaming, "Are you kidding me? Like, you took me 2,200 miles away," because I had already prayed before we made our move, "from everyone we know, everybody we trust, everybody that likes us, to throw us in the street, to make my family live in the street? Like, I just don't understand what we're doing." So I had about a 15-minute drive home. I drive home. I'm screaming. I'm bawling. I look like a 3-year-old. I'm throwing a tantrum. I'm hitting my steering wheel. And by the time I get home, I went from devastation to determination. And I'm like, no, living on the street's not the option. I need to figure something out. I literally walked in the door, and I looked to my right, and my oldest daughter was unboxing a camera she had just gotten for a photography class that she was taking. And I looked at her, and I looked at the camera, and I said, "Grab your camera. We're starting a photography business today." And she goes, she knew. I said, we need to make some money. And I said, you're old enough now, because she was 18. I said, I've sheltered you from where we're at, but this is where we're at, and we need to make some money. And she goes, Mom, because she knows I don't like negative Nancy's, she goes, I mean, no offense, but I don't know how to use the camera yet. And I said, we'll figure that out later. Right now, we need to start a business. And so I proceeded. 5 hours later, I have a book. It's called The 5-Hour Startup. We started a photography business. We made a net $11,000. And I'll tell you the story after, but the details of it, of how that went down, because it wasn't as pretty as it sounds in the end, but it actually picked us. Family members would call us and say, so how's it going out in Arizona? Like, you guys live on, like you're on vacation. It's amazing. And I was like, the good news is, you can't fall off the floor. The bad news is sometimes it's hard to get up. And we were literally sleeping on the floor. Little did they know.
So I was trying to figure out what story to tell. We opened up our bank December of '07. Nothing was going on. So. But really, I would say for me, probably the biggest struggle I ever had was 2020. February of 2020, I decided that I was going to end my life. It was done. And I know there's some business owners, CEOs in here. That can be the loneliest position in the world sometimes. You know thousands of people, but you don't really have any really deep connections. And you're kind of used to doing everything on your own. And I got married right out of college. My wife still had a year of school left, so I went to work the day after I graduated college, and had never really taken much of a break. And when that happened, I was actually getting ready to leave the house. My wife caught me literally at the last second, and said, "Hey, what's going on?" And I don't cry at all. I cried solid 3 days, and my wife got me some help. I was out of work for 6 weeks. And what I really learned from that was that I wasn't alone, and that I could actually lean on my friends instead of them all leaning on me. And my team really stepped it up at that point and took over. I remember when I first went into the hospital, my psychiatrist said, "This can be the best thing that ever happened to you." At that particular point, it did not feel like it. And it really has. I've met so many cool people. And I think I met you right before that. And I literally had my breakdown like right after I met Tisha. So, so life just, I won't tell you everything that led into it, but life gets crazy. And really just that, for me, the struggle, a lot of times, my biggest struggle is me.
Thank you all so much. I really feel like vulnerability is definitely a strength. How many of you feel that way? Yeah, where you can just be real, you can keep it real. I think that a lot of us see these entrepreneurs are like, they've got it all figured out. And they're like, oh, hell no, I don't. You want to hear my story? So thank you so much for sharing your story. Okay, so because of time, I want to go to this next question. Is Lloyd, can you share one life lesson that's really carried you throughout your journey?
So there's a book called The Alchemist. Anybody ever read this book? I feel like this is a book that finds you when you're ready to receive the content. Even if you've ever bought it, it's like, I remember even before reading it, a bunch of people told me about it. I planned on reading it one day, and one day randomly somebody gave me the book, like, here you go. And so I feel like it finds you when you're ready to receive it. And in the book, The Alchemist tells the boy that's on the journey, when you know what you want, the entire universe conspires for you to get it. And to me, that was really a message of be intentional about what you want. Have clarity, clear out the noise, and then speak what you want into the universe, to God, whatever you believe in, speak it. We're taught to kind of hold our dreams close to our vest because somebody's going to steal it, or somebody's going to. What I know is that, and what I've learned is that we're the competitive advantage. Like, you might want to try to do exactly what I'm doing, but you're not me. I'm the competitive advantage. My journey, my walk fuels every single thing that I do, and nobody in here can replicate that. Like there's such uniqueness to you, your perspective, your approach to things that can't be replicated. It's inside of you. Nobody can steal what's inside of you. And so all those things were very affirming and forced me to lean into my dreams, my vision, and to speak them and to share them openly to allow people in to conspire with me to achieve it. You know, so when you know what you want, the entire universe conspires for you to get it.
So a couple of things, I'll keep it short, is number one, you don't have to have everything figured out. Sometimes the universe does just conspire to assist you. Like when you need something. I needed money. I had a camera. I just leveraged what I had, and started with what I had. I think a lot of times we can have a tendency to overthink things, and that causes paralysis and no motion. The other thing is I'm a huge proponent of failing forward. Like we'll figure it out as we go. And yeah, I think that's been my biggest, skill set in terms of getting things done. I mean, today we're blessed to have the life we have, and it's crazy. It's crazy how quickly things can change, just by taking action.
I think one of the most important things I've learned is that it's okay to eat dessert first. So, really for me, I think just a couple things. I think for me, it's all personal. And for me, I don't have a work James and a home James. I just have James. And for me, that was getting back closer to my authentic self. So I've always told my good friends, I said deep down, I'm just a dirty hippie. So I literally wear Converse every single day. If I have on a suit, something bad happened. So it's really just, the bank has grown so much as I decided to be more vulnerable and do my full Brene Brown. There's some people that don't care for me, which is fine, because I probably feel the same. And it's okay to fire customers. It's okay to do all that. But there's people that really resonate with authenticity. And when somebody's talking to you and you really feel that connection, it's deep and it's lasting for the whole life. And the first time I met Tisha, I'm like, she is one of the coolest humans I have ever met. And then I met Lloyd, and I'm like, dang, I'm around a lot of cool people. And I got to meet Misty tonight. I just it is like what Lloyd said when, the universe around you. And I was listening to a podcast with Arkaya Badu, and she said, the world gives you what you deserve. And I was like, oh, dang. And so I think when that authentic part comes out, that's what you attract. And for me, that's been a life changer.
James, I think you're pretty cool. I think you all are pretty cool. Actually, everybody in this room, pretty cool. All right, okay. Just in the time we have, shameless plug, real quick, Lloyd. I know you've got stuff. James, you've got a big thing going on. All right, go. Shameless plug.
All right, shameless plug. So $1 Million Teacher Project, the nonprofit I launched in 2016. Our model revolves around 3 pillars of recognition, support, and compensation. We support teachers through those 3 mechanisms. In November, we have a campaign launching called TAP, Teacher Appreciation Package, where we ask businesses to tap in for teachers. And so what that means is you offer a meaningful discount on goods and services for a week for teachers. They come in and show their ID. You give them a discount that's meaningful to you. I would love to see you offering 50% off, but that's not in everybody doesn't have that ability. So figure out a meaningful discount for your business. If you are a business owner, reach out, let's partner, let's collaborate, and I'm gonna ask you to tap in.
Awesome. So I'm coming up on 50 soon, and I've been unsettled the last few years, and I haven't been really transparent. My husband knows it. I haven't shared it publicly. This is actually the first time I've ever said the words out loud. I love what I do. I love the clients I work with. I have an amazing business. It has provided us an unbelievable life, but I'm not fully fulfilled. And for the last couple of years, I kept thinking, and I've had a business, and I've spent a lot of money on business coaches just to vent. I feel like I'm starting over. I feel this is crazy. Like, why am I even thinking like this? Why can't I just coast until I'm done? Like, why can't I do that, right? Why can't I make my life easy? But I can't, because I know that I'm meant for more, and I know I'm meant to make a bigger impact. How many of you would have loved an opportunity to be a fly on the wall when Steve Jobs started Apple? Right, as an entrepreneur, and walk in his shoes and see what he did and do what he just watched and observed, right? How many lessons could we have learned? Many of us, we share our journey, and by the time we're sharing it and we have the guts to share it, we already arrived, we've already achieved, right? And what I want to do, and this is the first time I'm sharing this, is tonight with you, is I'm going to build a personal brand, and I don't have it all figured out. And rather than starting over, I woke up yesterday and literally the words were whispered in my ear. I believe in God, and I believe it was his voice. And he said, "You're not starting over, Misty. You're changing lanes." Yes. And it's like hit me. I can barely talk about it, as you can tell. So I'm changing lanes. And I'm building a personal brand, and I don't know what that looks like, but I'm literally documenting the next 433 days of my journey. And if you're interested in joining me and just watching, observing, I'm showing everything I do, everything I think, everything I eat, every meditation I take. I mean, I am fully exposing myself. Thank you, Brene Brown. I'm fully exposing myself because I want to take people on the journey rather than talking about the journey after. So if you go to mistykortes.com, you can check it out.
In 2020, I thought I was going to retire and be done, and once I started getting back to closer to who I wanted to be again, and I'm like, wow, I got a second wind. So I may have several years left. So and I'm getting ready to turn 60. And nothing I do would be possible. I wish she was here. My wife and I have been together since 1984. And she's a rock star. And she is why I'm still here. And she's the one that's been okay with me continuing to stay with the bank and grow it. So we have a second location that'll open up later next year at 14th and Highland in Phoenix. So we have a lot of customers in that area. I'm really excited. The growth piece is like, it's okay, but that relationship, we know our customers so well, my team too. I have some of my original team members from 2007. I've had several retire, but I just have such the coolest group of people I work with at work and our clients. And we've literally supported thousands and thousands of new jobs just with our little teeny bank. And I love what we do. And it's kind of nice having a little bit of a bully pulpit right now. And I've decided I'm not quite ready to give it up yet. And so I spoke in February in front of 2,500 bankers about mental health. No pressure. And it was absolutely amazing afterwards, the support I got. That's the first time I was terrified to speak. And it was amazing how many people are like, wow, I can relate to that. Let's talk. And so I look forward to continuing the journey, growing the bank. And we have such an amazing team. I know Shelly and Josh and Lauren are here. Whoever you work with at Gateway, they're awesome. So.
All right, can we give just another big round of applause to our panelists, Lloyd, Misty, and James? Hey guys, 6:03, we did it. I mean, a couple minutes, but hey. Again, I want to thank you all so much for being here at Social Connect. You do not have to leave, so don't just rush out of here. I mean, we say 4 to 6, but the Brew Distillery is open if you'd like to stick around, grab more desserts, grab some food, and just hang out. But thanks so much again for being here at Social Connect Phoenix's last call. I appreciate all of you so much, and I just thank you so much for the ride. It's been amazing.